What is up, team? So, today I'm going to go through this head-to-head from Dereck Chisora and Joseph Parker that came out the other day, give some comments, and go from there. Just wing it, man. So, without further ado, let's get into this.
I want to start off talking about what's at stake for each of you in this fight. Dereck, hope you don't mind going first. 35 years old, 31-9. Is it fair to say this is a crossroads fight for you?
No, not really. I always say I love fighting. I can't get enough of it. I'm trying to push the boundaries by trying to get 4 fights this year. And Joseph Parker is one of the guys I want to fight this year in London.
Joseph Parker going to be your third fight this year, correct?
Yeah, yes.
You've been staying busy, as have you. What's at stake for you in this fight?
Same as Dereck Chisora. I love to fight. I wanted to fit in more fights this year, but focusing on October 26th. And I feel this is for us, being as young as we are and what we've achieved, this is sort of a make or break for us and our team. So a win, will elevate us and get us closer to the goal of being 2-time world champion or unified champion. And a loss will bring us right down, and then we have to, take a long time to climb back up again.
At 27, you have the height advantage, the reach advantage, the age advantage. What will be the difference for you between a win and an emphatic win?
Going into every fight, you want to put on a statement. And the goal for all fighters is to look spectacular and win by knockout. So, I got youth on my side. Chisora is actually one of my favourite fighters from the UK, and the reason why I say that is because he always brings it, and with all the fights, he always rises to the occasion. And so I know that he's going to rise to the occasion and bring it, and it's going to bring the best out of me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Is there anything you admire about him as a fighter?
So, just to begin with, nothing new there from Joseph Parker. It's pretty much rinse and repeat, and Dereck Chisora, wants to keep busy. No mention of any title shots or anything, but it's Dereck Chisora, so we'll carry on. Is there anything you admire about Joseph Parker, Dereck Chisora?
No, first of all, from his career, from when he won the world title, he was giving it to him, defended it with some bombs, and when it's come time to step up, he choked,
Okay, I'm going to stop Dereck right there. He's a hypocrite. How many times has Dereck Chisora stepped up to world level and choked? Every freaking time. So, we'll continue.
In London, in front of 80,000.
Cardiff, Wales.
Cardiff, no matter, it's still United Kingdom, it's still London. And he choked. So basically, this guy we both know is a choke. He chokes. He was okay fighting in Australia, under those other guys, because those guys were not great fighters. But now he's jumped into a big pond, and there's real fighters here. So we're excited. I'm excited. We're ready to go to war, and we're definitely going to take him to war.
Okay, so he's continuing with the Australia comments, trying to get a bite out of Joe, but it ain't working. He's cool as a cucumber. Everybody knows Joseph's from New Zealand, and Dereck's basically making himself look dumb by continuing with this shit that it ain't working. So, but yeah, with his comments regarding the Joshua fight, I think to a degree, Joe did choke a little bit. Maybe the occasion got to him. He certainly gave Anthony Joshua a hell of a lot more respect than he needed to. And I think after he saw what Andy Ruiz did, balls to the wall, throw the kitchen sink, and it worked. He can't deal with the speed and the volume. But we'll continue.
How would you respond to him saying you choked?
Listen, he's entitled to his opinion. The way that we fought is the way that we fought. We can't turn back time. If we can turn back time, we'll do things differently. But we just got to move on and look ahead, and he's the one in front of me now. So if he wants to go to war, we're ready for war. We were ready a long time ago. Actually, 4 years ago, we wanted to fight him and bring him to New Zealand. But I think with a few issues that he
Hashtag
had,
Australia.
he couldn't have, he couldn't get a visa, I think. So
Oh, there you go. So he obviously has some kind of criminal convictions that don't let him into Australia or New Zealand. But I don't believe he ever tried to go to Australia anyway. You know, we've had issues with some things in the past. I mean, Mike Tyson was turned away from New Zealand due to his criminal record. When Peter Fury was supposed to be coming down here with Huey for the original fight, I think it was in 2017. Was it 1st of May? Something like that. The visa application for Peter Fury had been denied due to his criminal past as well. It did, however, get overturned closer to the fight. It was all go before Huey pulled out. But New Zealand don't fuck around when it comes to criminal convictions. We don't let violent criminals, fraudulent criminals, or basically anybody with a criminal record that actually means something. No drugs, no violence, and no fraud. So Dereck Chisora has one of those kind of convictions that stops him coming to New Zealand. However, he's still able to get into America. As many of y'all know, this head-to-head interview was in Las Vegas. And I just might add here, on behalf of all boxing fans, this host of this head-to-head is absolute shite. It's not anything against females, she just doesn't really know what she's talking about too much. So we'll carry on a bit here.
but now the time is here now, and he's accepted the fight. It took him a while to actually sign the contract, I think.
Did he?
I think we were waiting for you, brother, for the last 5 or 6 weeks. But hey, we're here now. We're here now.
Who's the A side in this fight?
Yep, it's not the first time either with the contract delays. As many of y'all know, Chisora and Parker were in negotiations to have a fight earlier on in the year. Chisora's team left it until 6 or 7 weeks before they thought they might sign the contract, but by that time Parker and his team had gotten pissed off with mucking around. They wouldn't get a full camp in. There was accusations of Chisora and his team trying to drag it out to try and give Joe half a training camp rather than a full camp, but it's done and dusted now. There was still some delays. Parker's team did want Chisora to submit to anytime VADA testing, and I'm not upset about that. After the shit that's gone on with Dillian White and a whole lot of other boxers being involved with drug convictions and whatnot throughout boxing lately, it's not a steep request in my opinion, but it's done dusted. The fight's signed, sealed for for October 26th at O2 in London. So we'll carry on a bit here.
Whose house is it? My house. My rules.
It doesn't really. I think it doesn't really matter.
It don't matter.
Egos get in the way, and
Yeah.
just gotta,
It's still my house
doesn't-
anyway.
yeah.
Well, and how big of a difference do you think it's going to make being in England?
Listen,
On
20,000, 30,000. Oh, Dereck Chisora. He knows.
Actually,
the song.
we've actually got a lot of support now, and actually a good fan base here. So we love fighting back there. I think,
No,
everyone.
you don't,
we got
man.
we got a lot.
The last 2 fights you've given.
We got a lot of support. The only issues we've had is, some of the officials. But hopefully, because I know Derek's a clean fighter.
Ooh, see that little dig there? That was about the VADA. I know Derek's a clean fighter because he's getting tested now, so that's good news. But O2 doesn't fit 30,000 people for someone who claims that it's their house. You should know how many people get in there. From my understanding, it's around 20,000. And yeah, maybe a lot of them will be going, oh, Dereck Chisora. And so they should be. But let's carry on.
You know, we don't really need to look at the officials.
Whoa, come on.
It reminds me
come
of Dillian White.
You lost with Dylan White.
And you?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's lost?
Yeah. I'll just continue a bit here. There's a bit more to that.
So it's worse.
Listen, I always say in a fight, I'd rather get knocked out and wake up and say, what happened? They told me you got knocked out, but it was a great fight. But you had
I got knocked down. There's no quitting me. I get up all the time.
Okay, you got knocked down, and then what happened after that?
I got up.
And then
what
what did you do?
Did you get up?
I didn't get up. But
Okay.
you fought on, and what
Lights
else?
out.
What else?
What else?
You fought on, and what else happened?
And we lost.
You lost.
Yeah.
See?
You know, that's
So if I got knocked down, if I got up, I'd have won the fight. But he caught me with a clean shot, and I would never take that away
nice shot.
from him.
Yeah, very nice shot.
Yeah.
So I'll make a quick comment on that. Yeah, Joe did lose that fight. And he's still complaining a little bit about it. But if you go and watch that second round again, I'm sure you've been told to go and watch it again and again and again. The head clash was not picked up by the referee, and Joe was winning that round up until the head clash. There was some punch in there as well, but there was a head clash. It was clear as day. The ref was standing right in front of it. Now that round Joe was winning convincingly, so that would have been a 10-9 round Parker. It ended up being a 10-8 round to White because the headbutt wasn't picked up. But if you scored that fight 10-9, how it should have been to Parker, the fight was a draw on the cards. Chew on that one. But we'll carry on.
I'll never take that away from him.
Very
But
good shot.
what I'm trying to say is, imagine I got up, what would have happened? I would have won the fight. But I didn't get up.
But you didn't get up.
But you got up. You
Yeah, I
went on,
got up and knocked him
and
down.
then you carried on
Knocked
chicken
him
out.
down.
You know, you knocked him down. He knocked himself down because he was
No,
so
knocked him
tired.
down, and
You
then-
didn't knock him
See,
down. He knocked
that's-
himself
that's
down.
where
He
when
was
you
so
start going back
tired.
to
He did knock him down. Even Dillian White said himself. Parker caught him with the shot that White was trying to set up Parker for all night. So get your facts straight there, Dereck. But let's continue.
the other fights and not giving credit where it's due, then it's a bit of a, you know, maybe it's
Do you want credit for a guy who was
no,
so
I don't
tired?
need credit from you.
No, man.
Maybe it's a bit of jealousy or
jealous
I
of
don't know.
what?
I don't
I'm
know the
not-
result or.
Man, I'm never jealous, bro. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
that's
so
good,
happy.
that's good. Thank you,
You know,
bro.
I'm
That's
never
great.
jealous.
That's
I'm so
fantastic.
happy. But what I'm gonna say is, you quit.
I didn't quit.
You got knocked
There's
down.
no
You got
quitting
up,
me.
and you didn't.
I
you
always
didn't-
get
you didn't
up.
push
I
on.
always carry on. I always keep fighting.
Oh man, this guy's a joke.
In your last fight against White, Anthony Joshua was commentating, and he made a good point about how you have the ability to draw guys into a battle.
A dude who quit doesn't knock down his opponent in the 12th round, Dereck. Joe was concussed for 3 rounds at the very least. And yeah, he didn't do so well after that head clash. But it is what it is. It's still a loss. I'm not going to deny it, right? So we're carrying on.
Kind of get them off their game plan. At least you did against him in the early rounds. He tried to exchange with you. Do you think he might do that? Have you been guilty of feeding into that in any of your past fights?
There's a few fights that I have. I know he's going to bring us, so we'll be prepared for whatever he brings. You know, once we we'll go to
No,
war.
you're not
we'll
ready
keep-
for one, but bring
Oh,
that.
brother, bring it on.
You're not ready.
Been
man.
ready, been 4 years ready.
This guy was a world champion, and he's been 4 years waiting for me.
I was ready for you a long time ago. Like I said, you couldn't come to New Zealand, so now we're having.
I didn't want to come to Australia. What's wrong with you, man?
Give it up with the Australia, Dereck. It's not working. Joe's cool as a cucumber, man. This shit don't work here.
Who's mentally stronger between the two of you?
You choose. Who do you think?
It's not my opinion that matters.
Damn right, because you suck, stupid woman.
I am. In both
Oh, that's
sides.
what he thinks, you know. He's always going to be the best fighter in his eyes and his, you know. And
No, I'm
his
not
brain.
the best fighter. I'm the craziest fighter. You know, I'm not the best fighter. I'm not Muhammad Ali, but I'm nuts. I'm crazy. You know, when I gain those through those ropes, man, I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, same
and,
here.
And I hope in this fight on the 26th, you knock me out. Because if you don't,
I will.
I'm gonna put you out.
That's what I want to
You
do. I
know.
want to knock you out cold.
Yeah, but you
or
don't.
maybe I should punish you for a little
But
bit.
you don't. You see,
Maybe I
this
should
is what I'm trying to
punish you
say
for
to
a
you.
bit.
in his mind, he has to say, he has to punish you for a bit because this guy here hasn't got any power. Let's all be honest. When you stepped up to the right level, did you knock anybody out? No, you did not.
I've had a lot. Look
Who?
at the records.
Who? Mate,
Look at our knockout percentage. And
everybody
look at,
can
the
knock
losses
out
that we've had, the wins.
taxi drivers, bro. You know, I can go out in Vegas Strip
Yeah,
right
the last
now
knockout
and
was
knock
quite
out,
good.
you know,
Your knockout was quite good, but that guy was, you know, that guy's chin was in the air.
You think I care about that knockout? No, man.
Which knockout do you care about then?
None. I don't
Oh,
care.
good.
You know.
Why do you think you're
Interesting. What world level fighter have you knocked out, Dereck? Carlos Takam. Who else? Are you going to try and call Artur Spilka a world level fighter? I have my doubts about that. I mean, maybe once upon a time, Spilka was world level, but he's lost to, Deontay Wilder. That was a world level fight. Lost in spectacular fashion, but he did okay. Then who else was there? Adam Kovnarski. Adam Kovnarski's first step up fight got knocked out in 2 rounds, did Spilka. He's also been stopped by Bryant Jennings, I think. This is off the top of my head. And he had another loss. Another stoppage loss. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Artur Spilka's chin, the nerves in his chin, are screwed. But, like, my point is, Dereck Chisora doesn't have huge power. Sure, he's got a good punch, but I wouldn't put him in the top 10 of heavy hitters. Neither is Joseph Parker, I might add. But he has volume, speed, and youth on his side. Dereck Chisora doesn't have a lot besides he's got dog in him, and that's it. Dude can't box. But we'll carry on a bit here.
going to be the first guy that can knock him out?
Me, because I'm crazy. He hasn't got anything which is gonna bother me. I'm willing to eat leather to get to him.
And you will.
Yeah, I'm willing to eat
A lot of
anything
leather.
he's got to get to him. The moment I get to him, he's fucked.
See, this is it. The point I was getting at. Dereck Chisora can't box. He's got plenty of dog in him, and he relies on his chin because he can't box. If you have to rely on your chin, the chances of getting knocked the fuck out are gonna go through the roof, man. Through the roof. And, somebody like David Haye, I see as a similar kind of fighter to Joseph Parker. But when David Haye was in his prime, right? When he knocked Dereck Chisora the fuck out. But I don't think David Haye hits any harder than Joseph Parker. I mean, he's been spouting for years that he's the heaviest puncher in the heavyweight division. Well, if that's the case, then why couldn't you knock Tony Bellew out? He took some of your best shots, David Haye. See what I'm getting at? But he still managed to knock Dereck Chisora smooth the fuck out. Let's carry on here.
When you say you're crazy, doesn't that go against being mentally strong?
No, I like to be crazy.
Making possibly bad decisions inside there.
Hey, listen, you're already making a bad decision when you get in those ropes.
You're already a little crazy
Exactly.
regardless.
So it's like, I'm stable-minded. No, you're not. You're going to box. So where's the brain into that?
Right, and I guess, would that be your plan, to outbox him?
He gonna run.
Listen, whatever plan we have.
Listen, he gonna run. We
I'll
know how
box
he. We
him.
know how he.
Listen, I'll box him and then I'll catch him.
We know how he
I'll
boxes
catch him
from
and
the
then put him out.
amateurs to the pros. This guy has never stood there to fight. He likes to box on the back foot. He likes to run
That's
away.
the thing. I can box and I can fight.
You can't fight, man.
He
Be
can't
quiet,
box.
man. You can't fight.
He can only fight.
You can't fight.
That's the only thing he can do.
You can't fight.
And he's not really that good anyways.
It's,
Alright, this is Dereck Chisora doing his best to make sure that Joseph Parker doesn't box, because if Joseph Parker does box, Dereck Chisora is fucked. He's even got a smaller reach than Joseph Parker. And that's saying something, because Joe has a pretty short reach. I'm just going to look it up here and see what Derek's reach is. I know Joe is 78 inches. Dereck Chisora on BoxRec. Has he got a registered reach? Yep, 74-inch reach. 6'1.5". So he's got reach disadvantage. He's got height disadvantage. He's got speed disadvantage. He's got age disadvantage. And he's been knocked the fuck out a couple of times, so the nerves in his chin could quite possibly be damaged as well. The only advantage Dereck Chisora has got is he's got a hell of a lot more dog than Joseph Parker. But Joseph Parker hasn't always fought on the back foot. One fight in particular where he got a bad cut from a headbutt, it was way back at the start of his career. Who was the fight against? It was against King Arthur Tatupu for the New Zealand title at the time. He got cut in the second round, I think. But Kevin Barry asked for one more round to see if they could get Arthur out of there. Go and watch that fight. Then you'll see Joseph Parker pure fighting. Not boxing, just fighting. And he gets the job done. But he can box on the front foot. He can pressure. I mean, how much did you see him on the back foot against Hughie Fury? I mean, that was the ugliest fight to watch, for sure. Thanks to Hughie's negativity. But Joe wasn't on the back foot in that fight. See, Derek's trying to play down everything that Joseph Parker can do and talk about the things that he thinks he can't do. But he obviously hasn't done his research if he thinks Joseph Parker can't fight. So let's continue.
Seems to me.
Guess who's coming to London to fight me then, if I'm really that good.
Well, yeah. So he's coming to London.
I'm
to
coming
fight
to
you.
London. I go to everyone's backyard. I don't care where the fight is.
Because you can't sell in your own country.
Because you couldn't come down. No,
I don't want to come to
issues.
Australia.
Yeah,
What's
well,
wrong with you?
There you go.
I don't want to come
If
to
you don't
Australia.
want to travel,
How come?
Everywhere.
that's the
Fight
difference. A lot of fighters, there's other fighters that travel and fight in other people's backyards, and there's other fighters who just want to remain at home.
Like Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See,
a good example.
the reason why he's traveling out, let's all be honest here. I think his own people realize he's been serving them bullshit for the last 25 years. So they had enough of buying tickets to watch this guy fight. So they're like, hold on.
Every time we fight at home, people always support.
Okay, tell me, what's the biggest capacity you ever fought at home in?
I think 10, 15.
Derek's once again not done his research, so he's digging a hole for himself in this one. But let's go. Let's see him jump in a hole.
10,000.
What arena?
Spark Arena.
Spark Arena. And what's the capacity does he hold it there? And don't lie.
Ooh, what's
We're
the
gonna
capacity?
Google that.
Yeah. 16, 17.
What's it like?
It's a nice plug for Spark Arena.
Yeah.
Spark
No.
Arena, even with the name Spark Arena, it's like
You're going to get
jump-
sparked out.
He's sparked out.
If you fought at Spark Arena, we get sparked out.
You never sparked anybody out when you
You haven't
boxed there.
sparked anyone, brother. That last fight that guy was over. He was finished. So, I mean, listen, you're coming off some good wins,
and
right?
then your last fight, who did you fight?
You know who I fought.
I don't know. Who did you fight?
Alex Leopold.
Who is he? Where's he from?
You tell me.
No, where's he from?
Do your research.
No, where's he from? Come on, we're being honest now.
Australia.
Australia. You feel some guy. This is just what I'm trying to tell you, yeah.
What are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say here, Derek? You don't know who Alex Leopold is? Former world title challenger. A guy who's never been knocked out. Wow, he got knocked out by Vladimir Klitschko, but he kind of got stopped by the ref. He was just getting beaten too badly and they stopped the fight. He's never been KO'd though. So, let's see what Derek has to say here.
This guy picked a guy who's based in Australia. He's fighting on Saturday. He flies him in on a Thursday, The guy arrives on a Friday for the weigh-in, and then on Saturday he's fighting his jet like he ain't got nothing else to give. And then how many?
Whose fault was that, Dereck? Alex Leopai was a late replacement because you fucked around with the contract the first time, you fucking idiot. Now you trying to blame a late replacement opponent on Parker when it was your fucking fault? You clown!
How many rounds did he go?
How many rounds? You
I don't know. I didn't see it.
You should keep up to date with the
How many
fights
rounds did he
and
go? Go on. You done your research.
Your last fight was 2 rounds.
It went 10 rounds. I'll say it. It went 10 rounds and Joseph Parker won every fucking round.
That's correct.
Yeah, and your last fight was?
10.
10, okay. I apologize.
Jesus.
That's all right. I apologize.
YouTube doesn't provide full.
You know what? Get rid of that guy there, man. He's not a great coach. Whatever you guys are doing each other, man, get rid of him. You guy travels from Australia and you go 10 rounds to the guy.
Well, listen, we fight anyone. If you were in front of us that day, we would have beat you up as well. But
You didn't beat that guy out.
you weren't there, so.
We all
It did beat him up. Every fucking round. Sharpen up, Chisora.
know how difficult it can be to make fights. I want to ask you about your promoter, David Hay. He said something to the effect of, he thinks that you may think you've underachieved in your career, and
Of course he'd say that, but you can't believe anything that comes out of David Hay's mouth. He's a fucking snake. I hate the dude. He's fun to watch as a boxer, but outside the ring, he's nothing but a snake.
that is the reason why you're so hungry now? What do you think about that?
Some points that he's right. You know what? I love fighting.
No, Dereck, you love money. Maybe you do love fighting. You don't love boxing, but you don't love... You love money. That's why you're fighting. That's why you don't mention titles anymore. Not for yourself, anyway.
I can't get enough of this. I love training. I love going to the gym every morning, doing my cardio, my sessions, everything. And on top of it, there's a great buzz when you come out, especially in England, in London, Great Britain fans. When you come out in front of 20,000 and they have paid money to come and watch you perform, that's a great feeling. And most fighters, they're retired, but they still want to come back and get that same buzz. And I said to myself, I will not retire yet. I'm enjoying this buzz. I'm enjoying this arenas, everything I do. 20,000, 50,000 cheering me up. I love that.
Sometimes guys hang around too long, though.
You know what? I said to myself, one day when I think I'm in the game for too long, I'll draw a straight line and I can walk on it. If I get to the other end, I'm still going. But if I push on a little bit, then I know I can't fight anymore. Then I'll retire.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Even if you can't talk, Dereck, you're gonna keep fighting. I mean, you started to take a couple of bad knockouts in your career. You've taken hellacious shots all your career. You've relied on your chin your whole career. And it's not a wonder the dude's a little bit crazy. A little bit fucked up in the head. The head's not meant to be hit, man. Let's continue.
Mike Tyson did say boxing is addictive.
It's very addictive.
Would you say you're crazy like him?
Not as crazy as Mike Tyson, though, but I'm a bit crazy.
Okay. What do you think about his craziness?
Oh, he's pretty crazy. I think he's calmed down a lot. I think.
That's what he thinks.
Nowadays, I mean, but there's a lot of things I've seen where he's a lot crazy in press conferences and weigh-ins. But he's quite relaxed now, which is a good thing to see.
Because we're in America, I don't want to get locked up.
Yes, that's
I don't want to get locked up.
We need this fight to happen. Have you faced opponents like him who have tried to get under your skin
I've faced
with
many
comments like
opponents.
like chicken?
Quack, quack,
People will
quack,
say what
quack.
they want to say. Oh, is that the noise for me?
Quack, quack, quack.
Eeyore.
Chicken.
A chicken. Quack, quack, quack. Yeah. There's a few too many hits to the head there, Dereck. Chickens go bok, bok, bok.
He's
Will
a
someone
donkey.
tell me why donkey is thrown around as an insult?
Why is a donkey thrown around as you?
I don't know, he brought it up.
No, but
It was
a
White
lot of
that
people,
kept calling you
I
a
was trying to
donkey,
understand
and
why
you
you're
called
the
him a
donkey.
donkey.
I cited the phrase donkey, and it's like back and forth.
But what's so insulting about being a donkey?
It's something we have, something in the the first sit down like this, things went off. Like,
Yeah, those punches to the head coming out again, you can't explain your own terminology. So I help you out there, Dereck. A donkey is someone who's riding someone else's media popularity, getting a paycheck off someone else's back. So originally Dereck was implying that White was getting paid off Dereck's name. Turns out it's probably the other way around. And it could be somewhat the same issue on this one. I mean, Dereck has a lot of fans in London, right? But how many pay-per-view shows has he headlined? Not a lot. Joe's been on a couple of international pay-per-views, but in his home country, every fight since his 16th fight has been pay-per-view. And not cheap pay-per-views either. Between $34.95 and $59.95 New Zealand dollars is what the pay-per-views go for down here.
like Joseph Parker's my donkey.
Well, there's got to be a concern out there for either of you, I guess, eventually becoming a gatekeeper.
Listen, I don't mind being a gatekeeper.
No.
Yeah, Dereck's already a gatekeeper. A gatekeeper to the world level fighters.
Give me the golden key, give me the key to paradise. I do not mind.
But how do you get a world title shot if you're just the gatekeeper?
Here's the point you don't understand. You got Deontay Wilder, Ruiz, and then you got Tyson Fury. But guess what? Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder locked in for 2 fights for the next 2 years. You know, Adrian and Ruiz are going to be fighting.
2 fights take 2 years? Go on, Dereck. The fuck are you smoking, man? They're busy, but you ain't gonna get a fight with them anyway. Not unless you beat somebody like Joseph Parker or Dillian White. Right? Moving on.
For the next, again, after this fight in Jeddah, they're doing a rematch.
I think fight,
Yeah.
fight, keep busy and patience.
You know, it's...
Well, but he has more years on you than you do, so
more years
a
and
little harder for you to
experience?
be patient.
Oh yeah, well.
Who's the world champion right now?
In the heavyweight
Yeah.
division, we're talking about Tyson Fury and
Who's the world
Deontay
champion? Who's the number
Wilder.
1 right now? You can go down the road.
See, this is what I mean about this host. She doesn't even mention the guy who's holding 3 of the 4 fucking belts. Dopey bitch.
Now ask who's the number 1 world champion right now, world title fight. They'll tell you they don't know because there's so many belts. The heavyweight boxing right now is just upside down because there's fighters out there who are number 1 who don't want to fight that number 2 who's got other belts. It's just crazy.
So your goal is to stay busy.
Stay busy, man.
Stay
Just
busy,
make money.
Fight anyone, everyone.
You know, it's not there. Like, yeah, do you want to fight? And then you know, they'll be like, Andy Ruiz, do you want to have a fight? Yeah, I'm on my way. Where? New York. Son, he lives in New York holding one of those. I swear on, you beat Andy Ruiz, didn't you? Or you
Yes.
didn't beat him?
I
You
did beat
robbed
him.
him. You guys
I
robbed
beat
him.
him.
You didn't. You
If
did
knew
not.
boxing,
You robbed him.
I
You
beat
run
him.
away
I beat
again.
him.
Nah,
I beat him.
you didn't beat him.
I beat him.
You beat
It's
him.
on the record book.
You,
I beat him, brother.
you know, you.
The only
Sorry,
blemish
man.
on Andy Ruiz's record. So then, let's say you did beat him. That could be an argument for you to say I should get a world title shot.
No, I don't live like that. If I beat him, I'm like, who's next? I don't need to be like, I beat him, now I have to fight Andy Ruiz because I beat it.
See? Not interested in the world title shot. I'm only interested in the money. Who can I fight? Who will give me a fight for some money? The better the fighter I can get to fight me, the more money I can make. Ee-haw! Ee-haw!
The guy who beat it, no, I don't do that. I'm not like that. I want to beat this guy.
Oh, come on.
I want to beat you.
Listen, you've had some good wins. All right, let's get in there, take care of business, get you out of there, and then I'll move on to the next one.
If is the operative word. Dillian White, you guys both had losses to him last year.
Yeah.
Do you think you've grown since then, improved, or same fight?
Let's jump in there. If is the operative word. But I think in most people's eyes, the only way Dereck Chisora can beat Joseph Parker is by knocking him out. And to do that, he's going to have to draw him into a dogfight, right? And this is what all Dereck's antics are about. Everything disrespectful is to try and piss Joseph Parker off, to get him into the state of mind where he just wants to get in there and knock this dude out. But if you go and watch the video when I'm finished here, you'll see throughout the whole thing, Joe's cool as a cucumber. He's not dumb enough to get sucked into a fight where he decreases his chances of beating the shit out of Dereck Chisora. Because if he keeps it at range, takes his opportunities, uses his speed and volume, and gets out of the danger zone, Dereck Chisora ain't going to be able to touch him. Like I said at the start, he can fight, but he can't box. If Joe boxes, Dereck's fucked.
Was it just a styles make fights kind of thing?
For us, it was a quick turnaround. Not taking anything away from him. It was a good win for him. And we've improved a lot since then. Worked on a few things, and we're going to come back a lot better and stronger.
Is that to try and keep that away from him?
Did you hear what he's saying? For us, it was a quick turnaround. What does he mean by that? What do you mean by that? For us, it was a quick turnaround. What do you mean by that?
It was 5 weeks, 6-week camp, so it was fast. Very fast camp.
This is going to be like a 9-week camp.
This is a good camp. This is good. Enough time.
So 9 weeks is sufficient for you. Should be 2 months, right?
Yeah, I was in camp for about 11 weeks and I got knocked out. I train hard.
Maybe you overtrained Dereck. But with regards to Joe, 9-week training camp, that's just for boxing, right? When he's been in New Zealand, he keeps in shape between fights. He does strength and conditioning training at home. So when he stepped into camp, he's pretty much at fight weight. He's pretty much ready to go. He's just got to work on boxing. Watch some tapes, do some analysis, figure out a game plan, instead of having to worry about getting in shape, losing weight, working on your conditioning. None of that's an issue this time, so 9 weeks is sufficient. For Joe, he's learnt in the past anything over 10 weeks is overtraining. He was overtrained for Carlos Takam. He also had some issues with back and elbows in that fight, but he did a 12-week training camp, and that was too long. So let's see. Dereck Chisora, yeah, he seems to be in better shape between fights these days, and he needs to be, because he's the guy who people turn to if they can't get the fights that they want. Okay, I'll fight a Dereck Chisora then.
It's boxing.
I know you keep talking about him running, but what's so bad about running if you're
Boxing's
defensive
boxing's
and
a game
protecting
where
yourself?
hit and not get hit. That's what you have to do in
The
boxing.
sweet science, right?
It's science, you're right. You're gonna run, man. You're gonna run like a chicken.
Yeah, you don't understand sweet science, eh, Dereck? Too many punches to the head because you rely on your fucking chin. Dumbass.
So you don't respect that aspect.
I don't. If you're gonna get in the ring, you have to go in it. You
That's
have
the
to
thing
fight.
about fighters. It's about being smart.
That's it, Joe. Be smart. Utilize your advantages. Don't give the opponent the opportunity if you don't have to.
You're not smart,
You go
you're
to
a
war, but
chicken,
also
you
be
just-
smart.
Listen,
Look at
I've
Floyd
been-
Mayweather.
I've
Example.
Okay, I'm going to knock that one on the head too. That was a bit of a dumb comment from Joe. If you go to war, you're not being smart. Unless you're somebody like Dereck Chisora. If you can't box, you got to go to war because that's all you got. But if you're a fighter who can box, then don't go to war if you don't have to. If you accumulate your shots, get out of the danger zone, eventually there's gonna come a point where your opponent gets hurt, and then you can go to war when the risk is a lot lower of something coming back that's going to hurt you. So let's continue.
But
Floyd
guess
Mayweather.
what? Floyd used to fight.
He used to.
Well, the reason why I say he used to, because he retired.
Yeah.
No, he used to fight earlier in his career because he was fighting tomato cans. When he started fighting elite level competition, he was a hell of a lot more defensive. Once again, fact check Dereck Chisora.
Yeah,
Floyd, he fought everybody.
yeah, but
he never
he
run
moved.
away.
No, he moved and didn't get hit.
No, he didn't run away like how you run
No,
away,
he-
man.
no,
He
good
never run
movement.
away. He will stand on the ropes there, do
What's
his
running
thing.
away? Are we in a track or something?
Yeah.
No, on the ropes is not where Joe wants to be ever. When he gets caught on the ropes, he's in trouble. So he doesn't usually spend a lot of time on the ropes. He doesn't try this rope-a-dope shit. That's not in Joe's style. His style is lateral movement when he wants to be on the move. Is it running? Some people call it running, but those are the people who want to see people stand toe-to-toe and trade all the time. Those sort of people, in my mind, don't appreciate boxing skill whatsoever. I mean, we all like to see a knockout, but I like to see boxing as well. That's my personal preference, because I'm a boxing fan. I'm not just a brawl fan. I do like watching a good brawl now and then in a boxing ring. That's fine. But when both fighters are brawlers, that's when you want to see a brawl. If you've got a fighter in the ring against a boxer against a fighter, then you want to see the boxer box and you want to see the fighter fight. Joe's not a straight out fighter. He's a boxer. So let's continue.
You
Ring,
run
so
away,
there's
man.
nowhere to
You
run
run
in the
away.
ring. If you can't catch the person, that means you're not working hard enough.
You run away. Can't be honest with this.
Your promoter, David Hay, had mentioned the power of your right uppercut. How do you make sure that doesn't land?
Well, I don't mind if it lands. Go ground that chin.
No, you haven't got a granite chin. Dillian White hits fairly hard. He knocked you out. David Hay, in my opinion, is an average hitter as a heavyweight. And he still knocked you out, Dereck. It's a matter of where it lands. If it lands clean, and if it's not landed, if it's landed clean the first few times, eventually it's gonna knock you out. And that's what happened to you. Joseph Parker's never been knocked out. He's been knocked down once, legitimately, in my opinion. I think it was the 9th round against Dillian White. He legitimately got knocked down. But there was contributing factors to that. A head clash earlier in the fight. Joseph Parker was concussed for a few rounds already. Take what you will from it, but in my eyes, he's only been legitimately knocked down once. The other one was a head clash.
Eat that motherfucker all day long.
Eat leather, eat
I'm
ground.
gonna eat. Listen, I'm prepared to eat leather to get to what I need to get to. That is it. I'm not gonna say, oh,
No, Dereck. To get to what you want to get to, you have to eat leather, because you ain't got nothing else.
Depends if you eat too much leather.
don't worry. But, you see, you're gonna be like ta 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 ta.
No, I'm gonna be da.
Wow, wow. You see that?
That's what I'm gonna do. There's no ta ta ta. What are we playing?
That's not gonna be
Put
like
a
ta
pat.
ta ta. You're gonna be,
We don't play boxing.
you
We
don't
box
play
hard.
But you run away though.
It's not running.
It's boxing, dummy.
That's smart fighting.
All I'm excited for this fight. That's the fight. The crowd was happy. I was not there. I was in LA. I'm happy. I'm excited for this fight. I'm buzzing. I even flew from LA to come and do this thing for this guy because I really want to make this fight work.
No, you flew to LA to do this because it's in your contract, Dereck. If you didn't do it, you'd get sued. Try and convince people that you did it on your own back. What a load of horse shit.
You know.
And the fight's here now, so.
You don't understand. I'm buzzing. I'm excited. You know, it's you don't doubt this guy.
Well, then let me assess what I think. You'll try to stay on the outside. play it
As
safe.
usual.
And you come forward, you're aggressive,
Of
and
course, all day
you
long.
let your hands go.
Let my hands go, let the leather
then-
go, slap his
And
ass
then
all
get
day
caught.
long.
He's gonna get caught.
It's like going in the shower, trying to tell you, I'm gonna take a shower and you come out there dry. You know, you go in
You're
the boxing.
expecting to get
yeah,
hit.
I'm expecting to get hit.
Yeah, you will get hit.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
worry about
expecting
that.
to get hit.
Has there ever been a point, though, where you wanted to train not to get hit?
Yeah,
Or
that's
focus
actually a
on
good
that?
question.
That means I don't.
Wow, I must have missed that the first time around, because that was a good question. But Dereck Chisora is not a boxer, so why would he? Let's see what he has to say.
That means I have to just take my heart out and my bollocks and just hang them out, because there's no point, is there?
No point. If you can win a fight from boxing, rather than relying on your chin, taking more punishment than you had to, why would you take more punishment than you had to? You have to take punishment because that's all you got, Dereck. And if Joe's got half a brain, he knows that you're trying to suck him into a war up close where you can reach him.
I guess.
Exactly. As long as I got this and this, he's fucked.
What about protecting your brain, though, your brain health?
Pardon?
What about protecting your brain?
I don't need it.
You already lost it, Dereck.
Never did well in school. So what I need my brain for, my wife is very beautiful. She loves me for who I am, so I'm sweet as a nut.
Sounds like he's got a perfect life.
I got perfect life.
Speaking of family, this is the first time that you have your family here in Vegas with you for your training camp.
Yep, I got my family here. It's a lot better than video calling. You know, after the training, go and see them. You know, give the kids a hug, and spend some time with them. So it's good. It's really good.
That's actually good, to be honest. I have to agree with this guy for once.
Oh, yeah, well, at least we agree on something.
Don't spot me, man. Fuck off.
So, Joe just tried to fist bump Dereck. And that's what he got. So, play that audio one more time. Hold on.
Man.
Some time with them. So it's good. It's really good.
That's actually good, to be honest. I have to agree with this guy for once.
Oh, yeah, well, at least we agree on
Oh,
something.
Joe's fist
Spot me, man.
out.
Fuck off.
Hey, some trainers in the past have argued against having your family around during your fight camp.
I think family helps you as a fighter. You know,
You know
a
what?
happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you go away training camp and you don't see your family, like, yeah, you're gonna be in a beast mode, but half of your mind is depressed. You haven't seen your wife, you haven't seen your kids, and when you go in there, you're all blind focused. You just focus on finishing the fight quickly so you can go see your wife and kids. But when you see them, you're like, you know what? My family is here. I'm happy. I'm gonna just do what I need to do.
Difference in your trainer and your trainer. You got the great Kevin Barry. It's like family to you, I understand.
Get rid
Yeah,
of that guy,
my
man.
trainer's good. You know, we have a great relationship.
Get rid of him.
And we did great things together, and we're still going to do great things together.
You're not gonna get knocked out.
Why do you say get
You
rid
keep
of
saying
him?
get knocked out.
You're gonna get knocked out.
Why do you say get rid of him?
He's won him a world title, and I don't think you can show him anything better than he can do what he did for the last 4 years. There's nothing else he can do for him.
Do you think that he has peaked?
It's gonna come back
There's a
the
lot
same.
more to come.
This is something I've touched on in the past. Kevin Barry has been with Joe for a long time. I think he was like 6 fights in or something when he picked up Joseph Parker. But I don't think another coach's input would be a bad idea. Kevin Barry's taught Joe a lot, but I think a fresh perspective wouldn't be a bad idea. Even if Joe didn't want to totally ditch Kevin, getting another coach in for another angle, some other thoughts, and see how it goes. I mean, yeah, Kevin's like a second father to Joe. Joe lives with Kevin when he's in Vegas. I don't think he's actually living with him this camp because he's got his family, so for the first time, but there's a strong bond there. I don't think it's worth chucking it away, but I certainly do think another coach's input would definitely help Joe somewhat. But let's carry on.
A lot more. I'm only 27.
Okay.
What are you, 30?
Yeah, you're only 27, Joe, but you're going to be stopping boxing in 3 to 4 years. He's always said, all through his career, that he's going to stop boxing at 30 or 31. So, if he doesn't, his mum's going to give him a hiding.
37?
Yeah, 37.
35.
I'm 37.
Oh, 35.
No, 37 for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just give him that.
10 years, alright.
Yeah.
Well, White had accused you of lying about your age.
Yeah, I'm 37. You're right. I'm 35.
35. Yeah. The way I see it is that, you know, you're going to come forward and do what you do and throw your big shots and, you know, wind him up. And then I'll box you, beat you up and catch you. That's how I see it.
You didn't
Clear,
get tired,
very
though,
clear.
against White. I mean, I was impressed with that amount of exertion. You lasted to the 11th round. So, I mean, he's not going to tire. You can't plan on him tiring out.
I've never had a problem with fitness.
That's a lie, bro.
Never had a
AJ's
problem with
fight, you
fitness.
choked.
No, never had a problem.
Even if he did choke Dereck, what the fuck has that got to do with fitness, you dumb shit? Take another few punches to the head. Maybe it'll straighten something up, you dumb prick.
Problem with fitness.
Well, fitness and choking are two separate things.
Yeah,
so
so that's...
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you see.
Yeah, that's where, see, I don't need a brain. That's obvious. You chucked it away years ago.
Thanks for letting
When
me
you're
realise.
not fit, you start choking.
When you're not fit, you gas out. You don't choke, dummy. Choking is the occasion getting to you. God, this guy's dumb.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say to you. If you're fit, you know you got the engine, so you don't care what happens. But if you know you didn't train right, you start going on the back foot and trying to make different skills you never did before. And this is what happens.
See, that's his opinion.
See, that's his opinion. Should have been, see, I'm a boxer. I can box on the back foot. You can't. Come on, Joe. Step up your game. I mean, it's nice to see him being himself a bit here, not trying to do the shit talk thing that doesn't usually go so well for Joe. But for me, I think he's still got to step on some toes a little bit more, point some facts out a bit straighter, and don't take as much shit. But, you know, I guess Joe is one of the nicest guys in heavyweight boxing around, and there doesn't seem to be much changing that. It is what it is.
His own opinion.
This guy's
Yeah.
always say he's always
Listen,
fit.
well,
If I'm not fit, you would know. The moment I walk in the ring,
You started to fade with the White fight, and then I think if
You looked pretty fit when you stepped into the ring against Ajit Kabayel there, Dereck Chisora. How come you choked if you were fit? Dumb shit.
you were fit enough, after being knocked down, you could have got up.
No,
If you were
because
fit
I
enough.
was. No, let's all be honest. You caught me with a good left hook.
Yeah,
very
but if
good
your
left hook.
fitness
We'll not take that away from the guy.
won't take it away from him, but if you were
caught me with a
fit-
good left hook, yeah, and on top of that, I was fighting 3 people. I was fighting the ref, yeah, the promotion, yeah, and the judges. So
The judges had you on
two
above.
points were taken. In my mind, my 2 points have taken. I'm so far behind, I need to go on it. I don't want to leave it to the ref or the judge, to anybody. I don't want to be like, oh, I wish I'd have stepped on you after that round. Or, what did I do that for? When I got knocked out, guess what? I woke up, I was like, was it a good fight? When I woke out the ring, they were singing my name, and I knew it was a good fight. So I was like, you know what, sweet. What is the next step?
you have to be concerned about the judges in England. So does that increase your...
A little concerned.
Hold up. The next step, Dereck Chisora, was supposed to be Joseph Parker, right? But you fucked around, made Joe get a late replacement opponent, and then you complain to Joe about flying the guy in late and not knocking him out. The guy who's never been properly knocked out. Fucking dumbass.
And hopefully, you know,
Don't
Yeah,
let it go to the
I
judges.
bought them, to be honest with you.
yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did buy them.
And the ref.
A little
And
concerned,
I
but
bought the
hopefully,
ref, the judge, the promotion.
hopefully we can have, you know,
Even the hotel
neutral
he's
officials,
staying at,
you know,
I bought it.
hopefully we can have.
No, you didn't, Dereck. You're in this fight for the money. You love money. There's no way you would pay judges. There's no way you would pay referees, and there's no way you would pay for a hotel either. You're a liar.
Neutral officials, you know, so everyone's fighting on an even playing field. Not.
Yeah, well, Joe and his team, I hope this time around they do their due diligence to check out the referee's background. Because Giuseppe Cortalone, who had, at the time, officiated mainly women's world title fights prior to Anthony Joshua, they didn't do their due diligence there, but they still signed off on it. They kicked up a stink about Terry O'Connor against Hughie Fury, who ended up on the judges, and one of the judges, what was his name? Was it the guy McDonald? Was the judge for that fight. Sorry, the referee. I didn't think the refereeing was too bad in that fight, to be honest. But I can't remember who it was. Was it Tony Weeks against Dillian White? Don't think it was. Can't remember who it was. But this time around, I'd like to see a decent referee. The judges, it'll be interesting to see who they put on the judging panel. But that'll come out closer to the fight.
You know, one-sided here and there. Or...
You know, we want to tell you that's true, but it's a lie, man. You're coming to my house, it's going to be my judges, my ref, my ring, everything mine.
We'll see.
Full of shit, Dereck. That wouldn't have been in the contract. I fucking hope anyway.
That's it.
I think you bring up a good point, or I appreciate that you don't seem to be so afraid of a loss.
Let me tell you something.
Why would he? He's got 9 of them. Stupid question, Blondie.
Fighters these days avoid a lot of fights in order to stay undefeated.
I'll tell you something about me. After I lost my first fight, I was like, why not? Let's go on. I'm not scared of losing a fight. You know, the only thing I'm scared of is one day I walk in the ring and there's no fans cheering me up. That's the only thing I'll be scared of.
The problem with considering your loss, like, okay, what's next? And not learning a goddamn thing from it, not improving your boxing one iota since your first loss, you're going to keep going down the same track. Every time you step up, you're going to lose, Dereck. You wanted to add to your game, learn from your mistakes, but you haven't.
I don't care about losing or winning. I just care about those guys who buy
All I care about is the money.
200, 300 pound tickets to come and watch Dereck Chisora. That's it.
But losing for you at this point in your career,
Nobody gives a crap about him, to be honest with you.
Losing
That's why he has to
like
come
I
and
said,
fight in my
losing
house.
We'll make it a bit harder, but
He's a matchroom fighter. It's a matchroom show, dickhead.
listen, we've taken 2 losses. There's nothing hard about losing, but we're not here to think about losing. We're here to think about winning and knocking him out. That's what we're thinking about.
how much pressure do you feel to put on a really impressive performance?
There's no pressure. You only put pressure. There's only pressure if you put pressure on yourself. I'm just going to go out there and perform well and do my best. I want to train the house down to be ready. But there's no pressure on me.
Yeah, there is, Joe. If you lose this one, you'll never get a world title shot again. Trust me. So there's pressure. But it's how you deal with the pressure. If you train well, you know you've done the work, then there's less pressure for you to put on yourself, but there's always going to be pressure at a crossroads fight. Particularly coming off 2 losses as a young 27-year-old former world champion.
Pressure on you?
He is. This guy's in box. He's the only 2 fighters.
How could there be pressure on somebody with 9 losses? There's no pressure on Dereck, particularly when everybody expects him to lose anyway.
His boxers AJ and Ruiz and Mercer and Dylan.
So that's 3.
Yeah, and then after
That's
that.
top tier talent.
And then after that, before that, he was.
Let's get back. I missed that.
And Ruiz and this guy's in box. He's.
Pressure on you?
He is. This guy's in box. He's the only 2 fighters in box was AJ and Ruiz and Mercer and Dillon.
So that's three.
Yeah, and then I.
Who did he say? AJ, Ruiz. Oh, Dillian. Well, there's Huey as well. I don't think he's elite level, but surprisingly, how come you've never fought Huey Fury, Dereck? Because he's long, because he'll make you look stupid chasing him around all night, somewhat like he did against Joe, but at least Joe had some success. Your feet have you got concrete boxing boots compared to Joe, and there's no way you would have caught up with Huey Fury at all.
After
That's
that,
top tier talent.
and then after that, before that, he was labeled as the best pound for pound fighter in Australia and stuff like that. And then when he
He nearly said New Zealand. He tried.
comes to the big pond, he can't produce the goods.
Have you been to Australia or
No,
do you
never.
like it? Oh, okay.
I've never been.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You know, never been. It's too far. I keep saying this.
I represent New Zealand and Samoa. Like I said, though, I'm South Pacific. So, having the support from them, helps me.
You're lying.
Yeah, see.
How's he lying? Support helps him. So, how's he lying? Sounding a bit dumb, Dereck.
Look at him.
Well, why do you feel the need to say those things to him?
Wow.
Because he's just trying to create.
That he doesn't have
I don't know what
any supporters.
He don't, because that's why he's fighting in Vegas and in London.
I haven't had a fight in Vegas. See,
Oh, more dumbass. He's fought. Oh, I can't remember where he fought in America. He did fight in America. He fought some tomato can. Someone Thompson. Keith Thompson, I think his name was. Joe fought him in America. He's fought in Germany. He fought Nascimento on the Leopai Klitschko undercard. He's fought in New Zealand. He's fought in the UK. And that's everywhere he's fought.
What was his last
the
fight?
information is wrong.
Wait, your last fight, where was it?
Rhode Island.
I haven't propped you up by giving you Vegas and Rhode Island.
Don't
Never
worry,
heard of the
listen,
place.
because I speak the truth. I don't
Rhode Island.
and I do my
Jesus
research.
Christ.
He's
Go on.
trying to appeal to the American fan base.
Oh, of course.
Is he? Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, right, you give me that water because I don't know what to say. I'm so dumb.
I think in America, they're more into American football, basketball, and if they down deep south into NASCAR. Is it?
Yes. Yeah, racing.
Yeah, racing car. So they like what they like. The last time they had a great heavyweight, and they were right behind the great heavyweight. That was Mike Tyson in Holyfield. And when that era died, I think they kind of washed their hands with boxing, and then Floyd came in a little bit. But Floyd fans were more like from the outside, no American fans. They're like Europeans and stuff like that.
How do you bring prominence back to the heavyweight division?
Yeah, this transpire, he didn't do anything.
You just gotta perform, really.
He keeps bringing up that fight with Joshua.
I don't know why he keeps bringing it up. Maybe he's angry he didn't get the chance to get
Let me
the
tell you
fight with
something. You're
Joshua.
going in
I
at
don't
the
know.
fight for all titles in front of 80,000. You come out like a beast. You come out ready to go to war. You come.
Yeah, because you've got all that winning experience at world title level, eh, Dereck? Fucking idiot, don't know what you're talking about. It's a problem.
You come out with
See, that's
passion.
his thinking is different from smart fighters.
Smart fighters.
Yeah.
It's a problem with these Australians. They come out and think they're so smart, but they're not.
Maybe too much school.
Yeah, maybe too much school, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did happen in that Joshua fight? How would you explain it?
Chicken.
We're doing pretty good.
Quack,
You
quack,
know,
quack,
Chickens don't go quack, dumbass.
and maybe,
quack, quack, quack.
he got the better of us in the second half of the fight.
He
And
was
he
not
established
fit.
his jab,
It was not fair.
and he used his reach pretty good, better than I thought he would.
I thought you just gave him too much respect. He wouldn't have had the momentum in the second fight if you had stepped on the gas a bit more and tried to stay inside a bit more. There were moments where he did get inside and didn't do a lot, but the referee wasn't helping. As soon as he got inside, it got broken up. So I actually picked Joshua to win that fight at the time, and the fight kind of did go how I think it would. Joshua gave Parker too much respect at the same time as well. I would have seen them not go to war like Dereck said, but engage a lot more and show a lot more intent. If it went to the cards and it was a close fight, it was always going to go to Joshua, but it wasn't really a close fight. I thought Joe did choke somewhat in that situation.
And you know what I say? He was not ready to eat leather.
Who wants to eat leather and go dumb?
Exactly. Now you understand what I'm
But
trying to
who
say.
wants to eat leather and go dumb?
This is what I'm trying to say.
He's one of a kind.
Who wants to eat leather and go dumb? I like that line. And Dereck says, exactly. So he didn't understand what was coming out of Joe's mouth in that situation. He's already too dumb.
This is what I'm trying to say to you. This is why he has to fight here now, because his own people realize
a lot of fighters
this guy is a fraud.
Want to hit and not get hit, whereas he wants to get hit all the time. So I think it's very unique.
You're fighting for a big, massive, to be the number one, and you choose not to eat leather for about 30 seconds. To just go in there, you know what?
Listen, like I said, we went out there and did our best, and the best was the best at that time.
Were you fit?
I was fit. I
No,
went 12 rounds.
You're not fit. Come on, man.
Come on.
Anybody can go 12 rounds in this.
Not anybody can.
Stay up
Sorry,
on you.
another wrong statement from you.
No, anybody can go around 12 rounds, man. Come, let's all be honest, man.
So why haven't you fought Anthony Joshua and gone 12 rounds then, Dereck Chisora? Anybody can, is what you said?
You know, his achievements, I went 12 rounds, I didn't get knocked out. You know.
How much tape do you guys watch on each other, or have you at all?
I don't watch tape. I never watched tape in my career.
Why?
Because you're dumb.
Don't know. I don't even watch the fights I won and the fights I lost. I don't.
I watched a bit of tape, and our team sits down and then watches the tape as well and comes up with a plan.
And you've watched tape on him?
I've seen a few fights.
He's watched tape on AJ, he's watched tape on Dylan White, and what was the plan about that?
But I guess it's the idea of preparation.
Well, that's
preparation is key, I think.
Bollocks. His preparation is get in there, train hard, do what you need to do, come in the ring, come with bollocks as a rhino, heart as a lion, and go to work. That's how I train.
Yeah. At this stage, I don't think you've even got a trainer. So yeah, you train yourself, Dereck. See how well prepared you come into the ring come October 26th.
But no sparring.
No sparring. I look at myself in the mirror like, go get this sucker, you know. Go get this Australian guy.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts, I'm excited. I'll be ready. Looking forward to October 26th. Probably put him into retirement.
Watch the press conference before the fight. I got something planned for him.
What do you have planned?
Oh, don't worry. I got
Some craziness again?
I got something planned for you. I got something huge planned for you. So.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Looking forward to what that will be. But my guess is Dereck Chisora is going to come dressed as a chicken. Maybe even a donkey. Trying to take a page out of Tyson Fury's book coming as Batman. But let's see what happens.
Look forward to it.
We'll be sure to tune in for that, and tune in for the fight on DAZN and Sky Sports box office October 26th.
Damn, you run out of water. You don't have any water here.
Will you gentlemen shake hands?
Oh, Dereck spits in his hand before shaking Joe.
Spit brothers, I guess.
Dirty, dumb prick. Alright, so that was the full interview. And my thoughts on it, you know, Dereck, in a nutshell, Dereck is trying to goad Joe into trying to stand toe to toe and fight. Now, I don't think Dereck Chisora is any better than Joe at standing and trading. But that's all we see from Dereck Chisora. And by all means, it certainly would increase his chances if he can get Joe to stand there and trade toe to toe. Because if Joe's on the move, making angles, pot shotting, throwing combinations, staying out of the danger zone, Dereck is fucked. Simple as that. And that is my opinion. Everything Dereck Chisora is saying about Joseph Parker is trying to goad him into a war. I think if it does become a war, it's a 50-50 fight. But if Joe boxes for the first 6 and then steps on the gas in the second half when Dereck isn't quite as, or doesn't have as much pop on his punches, he's slowed down somewhat, Joe should be able to finish the fight before the final bell, in my opinion. But I wouldn't exactly be surprised to see it go the distance. If Dereck Chisora wins this fight, for me, it's inside the 6 rounds, and it's going to be a stoppage. But the likelihood of it for me is about 30%, just a rough estimate. So that is my thoughts on the conference. I would like to hear your guys' opinions, so feel free to comment in the comments section below when this uploads to archive, and we can get some conversation going. So I hope you've enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up if you have, and I will catch you in the next one. This is Big Boys Boxing, and we out. See you!